So it is Sunday, October 5th here in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, I didn't get out yesterday for opening day, but they finally decided to legalize Sunday hunting for us. So we're out here today trying to do a little bit of doe management. It is around 9 o'clock and already almost 70 degrees, so not quite ideal conditions for us, but we're still out here. I'm going to try to put some does on the ground, and if it doesn't happen this morning, we'll be back out here this evening. Okay, so while I was sitting here, I figured I'd show you guys what's going on out here with the setup that we got going on. So we got down here, we got a little mock scrape that I put in there. You can see where they've been hitting right there, that bare spot. They haven't been hitting it a lot, but there's a few does in it. And we got a mixed food plot here. Didn't come in quite that well, but it's still a little bit more green what the actual field is, and they've been tearing it up pretty good. So got a little pond over there that they love that thing. This food plot here, there's a ton of different things in there. We put two mixes in there, and between the two mixes, I think there's like 15 different plants that are in there for them. So they seem to be liking it quite a bit, but I guess now we just gotta wait for the buck to show up. I don't know exactly why, but for some reason these bucks that are around here do not summer on this property. They have summer on pretty much every property except for this one here. They got pretty much everything they could ever ask for here. They got the food plot. They got a pond there. There's a big pond down over the bank there, so they got that. That's still on this property. Behind me here, I don't know how well you can see, but there's pretty thick pines up in there for a lot of bedding. There's a lot of down trees, so they got plenty of bedding up in there. Down on the ridge over there, it's super thick. It's pretty steep, but it's a really thick ridge that I don't see why those bucks wouldn't be hanging around down there, especially down by that water and having food up here. But they've just never summered here, so we kind of just got to wait for the rut to kick in for the bucks to start showing up here. So that should be starting here within the next week or so. Next weekend we have a little chipmunk right here. But anyway, just kind of waiting for the rut to kick in. Next weekend we have Saturday and Sunday. They're supposed to be not huge, but a cold front coming through. It's supposed to be in the mid-30s both mornings, Saturday and Sunday. So hopefully we're gonna get out for them. And I believe both days the pressure is supposed to be rising. I think the pressure is supposed to be up at like 30.3 or something like that. I think that's what I saw. So hopefully those days the deer will be up moving, and I'm hoping the rut's kind of kicked in by then. So hopefully we'll have some buck moving through and at least see them. And really, hopefully we'll get a shot at them. But anyways, I'm gonna get back to sitting here looking at nothing for now. Hopefully we got, I think like 45 minutes of light left. So it just got done raining here about an hour ago, and on the way in I saw there was a bunch of deer out. So haven't seen any here yet, but hopefully here not too long they'll be moving in here before the end of shooting light. So I'll pick you guys back up if anything happens. Alright, so back out here Tuesday, October 22nd. It's been 2 days since I was out last. Last night I went out and set up a new spot. Um, on the way into there, I saw a pretty nice looking 8-point, so know there's bucks in the area over there. Yesterday morning, about 45 minutes before shooting light, we had our first picture of buck in the food plot here, and then he was back 45 minutes after the end of shooting light. So at least we know there's something in the area. I'll pop up a picture of him here now. He's not anything huge. He's a little 7 or 8-point, but all the bucks that I have so far are pretty small, so it's not really gonna take much to top that. I'll pop up a couple pictures of the 3 that I've killed so far here. But back out here, and the other night on the way out, I almost got a shot at a couple doe, but ended up getting too dark. And then last night on the way out from setting up that new spot, I had one at 50 yards, but I wasn't exactly confident in the shot, so I didn't end up shooting her. But yeah, back out here, and hopefully we see some tonight. If not, hopefully we see something on the way out again and actually can get a shot at it tonight. So we got about an hour and 15 minutes left of shooting light, so I'm not super confident tonight. Well, little update. It's been about 10 minutes and it is now raining, so this makes the evening even better. So far, all I've seen is a chipmunk and a squirrel, so very eventful. And now with it raining, it's probably gonna take a little bit off of shooting light, so. I'm gonna squirrel at the base of my tree. But yeah, I will check back in if anything else changes. Alright, so it is Sunday, October 26th. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This morning we were out for a little while and saw 8-point. There was 8-point and I don't know what else fighting down there on the other side of the pond dam. That was right at first light. I actually fell asleep and got woken up to them fighting, so that was pretty cool. But we were out for a while this morning, and that was all we saw, and that was right at first light, so it was a pretty eventful morning. We were back out. Been out here for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I've seen squirrels. My uncle is over there across the field, and he's had a little gray fox in front of him a little while ago, but other than that, it's been pretty slow. The big 8-point that we just had here on camera 2 nights ago daylighted right at the end of shooting light last night, along with another small buck, so we are hoping that he decides to daylight again tonight. He was 12 yards from where I'm sitting last night, about 10 minutes before the end of shooting light, so I'm really hoping that he decides to do that again. But we have about 2.5 hours before the end of shooting light, so plenty of time for something to happen, but still been pretty slow. Seeing a little bit more deer here and there, so that's definitely a good sign. But other than that, not really a lot going on, so I'm just gonna sit here till the end of shooting light and hopefully get a shot at the big 8-point. 1st, Saturday, November 1st. It is about 7:15 shooting lizard 15 minutes ago. And I've already seen a buck and 3 does. I am in the new spot today that I haven't really sat at much. See a deer right now. Can't tell what it is. But yeah, I've seen a buck and 3 does already. The buck and 2 of the doe were at about 70 yards. The does blew out of here for some reason. I'm not sure why. Because where they were at, they can't see me. And my wind's going the opposite way from them, so I don't know if that buck spooked them or what. That's the buck. Looks like just a little 6 point, but still blew out of there. That buck got up and followed. So, but that buck's kind of headed back to the right now, so I think he's gonna go up in the big field and feed, and hopefully him and his big brother will come back down in here after they get done feeding. But I saw one doe up there in the big field. And then there was 2 does right here behind this thick stuff right here, so I'm not sure what spooked him. I don't know if just that buck moving around spooked him a little bit, or if my winds were a little bit, or what happened there. But they spooked him. Once they saw that buck, they kind of turned around and started walking back to where they came from, so I'm not sure what exactly was going on there. But I'm hoping something will work its way down here and end up underneath me with an arrow in it. So, yeah. Okay, little update. I just smoked a big 8 point. Definitely the biggest buck I've ever shot. I grunted and rattled about 10 minutes ago, and I heard something behind me, and I turned around, and he was standing there at like 55 yards. He walked around me, and I think he was smelling the trail of a hot doe because he was on a mission. And I stopped him and absolutely smoked him at about 40. And I watched him go down. He's about 70 yards from me right now. Oh my God. Not what I was expecting to happen today. Oh my God. This is definitely the biggest buck of my life by far. He has a huge body too. So I'm gonna get down and go over him and show you guys when I'm over there. All right, so that he came through right here, walked right along there, and then I stopped him right there by that down log, and my arrow is right there. and then he's dead right there. You can't see him very well, but I'll show you when I get over there to him. All right, well, I just got over to him, and he's not the biggest buck in the world, but definitely the biggest buck I've ever shot, so. He's definitely a pretty old buck. He's got a lot of gray in his nose. Oh, not what I expected to happen this morning. That's amazing. Oh, man. First buck I've ever rattled in. First archery buck. And the biggest buck of my life, so. It's a pretty good morning. But I'm gonna get some pictures with this guy and wait for my uncle to get over here and help me get him out, so. Oh, I'll have him take some pictures of me and I'll show you guys. Well, he's not the biggest buck I've ever seen. Biggest buck I've ever seen while I'm in the sand, but definitely the biggest buck I've ever killed, so I'm really happy with that. Oh. He's super old too. I don't know if I've ever seen a deer with that much gray in his face. He's a nice buck. First ever archery buck. 2 years ago I killed a little doe during archery. And that was just out of pure luck. I didn't get a chance to range her. Didn't get a chance to really do anything. They took off running, and I drew back and stopped them and kind of guessed where they were at. Let the arrow fly, and the one that I was actually trying to shoot ducked the arrow, and I hit the little one behind her. So definitely wasn't the ideal situation there, but you know, can only go up from there, and I go out quite a ways with this one. But that's amazing. I'm beyond happy with that. I'm beyond happy with this deer. He's covered in ticks, but this morning had a little 6-point bedded right here somewhere. Actually, when I got into the stand, I had just finished setting everything up when I turned the shooting light, so a little later than what I wanted to get into the stand, but had that little 6-point, and then he was with 2 does. There was a doe up here in the big field behind me, and then a little while ago I had a little doe at about 65-ish. I got her on video a little bit, so I'll show you guys that at some point. And then unfortunately I didn't get this guy on video, but I didn't get a chance to grab my camera arm out of the other tree, so I didn't really have a way to film him anyways, and he came in so quick. He was on a mission walking through there, and I ranged where I thought he was gonna go and set my sight to it, and that was about it. Drew back. My bow squeaked when I drew, so I was kind of expecting him to hear that, but he didn't, and I stopped him and let the arrow fly, and it hit its mark, so I'm really happy with this. But I guess I'm gonna sit here with him for a couple minutes and soak this all up and get to work. Alright, so back up for the afternoon hunt. Obviously it was a pretty eventful morning this morning. Best morning I've had in quite a long time, so still kind of disappointed that I didn't get the shot on camera, but even if I did have all my stuff with me to film, everything happened too fast for me to get a camera up and on him, so got him all all taken care of after we got him out of the woods this morning. He's all corded up and everything. Well, we're back out here for the evening hunt, hoping to get my uncle on a buck this evening or get a doe for one of us, but I'm hoping that tonight will go as good as this morning did. And even if it doesn't, it's still a pretty good day. So, yeah.
Alright, so as you guys can probably tell, it is after archery season now. It's actually about halfway through rifle season. I completely forgot to do an outro for the archery video, so that's going to be coming to you guys pretty late. So I apologize for that. As you guys saw, I got that 8-point first archery buck first. I don't know if I really rattled him in or not, because I rattled and then 10 minutes later he came through, but his nose was pretty glued to the ground. I don't know if he was, I'm assuming he was following the doe. I don't know if he just happened to come through there at that time, or if he found that trail on the way to me, or what exactly happened there. But biggest buck I've shot so far. I know he's not anything like there's people out there shooting, but for around here he's not bad, and it's my biggest so far. He scored 102/8. I know some people wouldn't even think about ever shooting that, but I'm 17 and his first archery buck, so I'm pretty happy with it. After that, I got out maybe once or twice after that, and that's it, just because it started getting cold, and I have really bad circulation issues in my hands, so I can't really sit out in the cold that long, so we have heated stands here for rifle season, so I can do a lot better with that. But I think it was like a week or two after I shot the buck, I shot a doe, but she ducked and I hit her high in no man's land, so didn't get her. I mean, I guess things happen. Wish I compensated for the duck a little bit more, but I guess things happen, especially with archery hunting, so I can't be too upset with myself. But other than that, it was a pretty alright season. Didn't see a ton, but got the first archery buck out of the way, and hopefully next year will be on to better things. So, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at familytradition.doors. So go and follow me there. But I guess other than that, that's our wrap for the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.